Hey guys, in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over what you should be spending your Exergy on and the research progression line that exists in Warborne Above Ashes. In the very beginning of the game, you're going to go through a tutorial process in order to unlock some of this stuff automatically. Highly recommend that you keep an eye on your side quests. In the side quests, it'll tell you to do things like to upgrade your drifter strength, agility, and intelligence for a small bonus. You're going to do these things anyway. Hold on to your Exergy, especially in the beginning of your progression, for specifically upgrading your drift mark at Ralph in the drift mark console. Upgrading the tier of your drift mark is hands down the number one most important thing to research in the game, bar none, not even close. If you don't have enough Exergy to research this when it rolls over, you're basically wasting your own progression time, making it even harder for you to catch up once you have fallen behind. While you're upgrading the tiers, you're going to hit different thresholds that exist that unlock other sets of stuff for you to unlock. For example, I can't get my third drifter slot until I'm drift mark level 9, and I can't research drift mark level 9 until I'm finished researching drift mark level 8 at Ralph. So it's time gated, right? So that is important. The slower that you're hitting those thresholds, the slower that you're accumulating points, even from doing things like Exergy mining. I need to hit drift mark level 8 even to go to Exergy mining level 5. What this means is that when you go to the extractor, you're going to get a reduced amount of currency per hour on your mine, regardless of the level of the mine itself. The mine here that I am at is level 9. I am outrageously close to it, which does matter. The position of your drift mark in relation to the mine does increase the amount that you get per hour. But since my mining is not high enough to get like the full yield, I'm getting a reduced yield while I'm waiting for that research to go on. Once you hit level 7, you're going to want to level these technologies on the top tier quickly. These things are important. Getting your drifter tier up, getting the ability to wear higher tier equipment, being able to produce that equipment maybe less to a lesser degree, and then being able to produce Starfall token chests, which is, in my opinion, the least important of the 4 that are here. In the second tab, you'll want to focus on the stats that make sense for your character. I haven't really put too many points into this because I know that I'm going to get more Exergy later. And because this is, I'll say, less important in the beginning of the game, since I have a little bit extra, for example, I'll probably take this to level 5 or level 6, just because I have a little bit extra. But I am cautious because I want to make sure that I have enough for the next upgrade to start for the drift mark the second that I'm able to upgrade it, right? And again, the lapse in time just makes things harder. I'm already several hours behind because I was a little bit lax in the last couple of days doing my research. So I feel the pressure to make sure that I stay ahead of it even more now that I'm trying to stay on top of things and maintain that competitive edge from being an Iron Creed specific to research. In the third tab, keeping your Exergy mining bot as high as it can go is important. Being able to unlock your station upgrades as you need them. So for example, I can get an extra upgrade for the support station here, but I don't even have anything to put into it. So I'm not going to waste the 27,000 Exergy to unlock it just because I can. The same is true for the second Nomad post, the harvest bot, which I probably wouldn't even use anyway, inventory expansion that I can benefit from, it's so on and so forth. Getting your mount HP up at least 1 level, regardless of the cost, especially in the beginning, is recommended. Mobs in this game hit extra hard, so you'll get dismounted literally instantly by some mobs, especially later into the game. Once you start getting to like tier 9, tier 10, especially in tier 11 maps, if something hits you, you're instantly going to get dismounted, and it's going to be a pain in your ass because you're going to get on cooldown The cooldown for getting dismounted, I think, is like 25 seconds. So you're just wasting all of that time once you're dismounted. The bottom tier of the research here is your like your technology stuff. It's going to make you get drone and drugs and food pretty early um, in the chapter cycle, I think. So you're going to have to get that stuff naturally. I recommend at least one level in defense turret. If you're somebody that gets attacked often, if you're in a faction that your house is going to get attacked often, I also recommend getting the Driftmark shield. Um, Once you have a level of defense turret, it's just going to make the turret more effective because it has more life to chew through. The Demolisher, for example. Heartbeat detectors are nearly necessary, right? And you're going to need to gather to be able to craft them in um, in the Driftmark, but it is worth having. Siege device, again, keep it at max level. Try to get it as high as possible. Siege device, maybe to a lesser degree, range demolisher, but siege device is going to make it so that when you're in the siege constructor, you can create higher tiers of demolisher. Each demolisher has its own stats. So, for example, a tier 6 demolisher only has 24,000 health, whereas a tier 7 demolisher has 36,000, and a tier 8 demolisher has 43,000. And you can see the other stats also scale in a similar manner. Demolishers are going to be the thing that is going to help you take over the map objectives that you're going to need. Typically speaking, you're going to take two of those to war almost every time that you go, assuming you're doing some kind of um, map progression content where you're taking over objectives or you're attacking somebody's house, because that's also an application for those as well. Um, the welding gun is something I don't necessarily think that everybody should upgrade. It's in order to heal your stuff, but that's less prevalent now that they've made hubs work the way that they do. Um, and light fortification is something that I expect most people will want to get to level 3, specifically for spiked traps, which are big, large, wide spike strips that exist in the game that eventually grow to the point of becoming the meta in the later part of the season. Once you can get like turrets and vision posts and things like that, you're going to want to create a physical outpost out in the world once you start fighting so that the enemy doesn't just come roll you over, right? Sentry bots are something that you can get, but I don't necessarily recommend. As you get into the higher tiers, all of these other researches later are less necessary. For example, Driftmark durability, um, it's only going to matter if your house is getting attacked, right? This might not even be something that comes up. The same is true for the crisis module, etc., or the sake to do field repair, which is something you're going to need in order to use the welding gun, which is weird that it is later. The stuff up here for juvenile generator and mechanical mount, these are things for battle mount stuff. Maybe not something that is relevant to you. Probably talk to your guild leader as to whether or not that's important. You're going to want mount sprint speed eventually. Even though it says 0.2, it's really, I think, quite a big increase. Like, it is a noticeable increase once you get the additional mount speed. But these are things that you're not going to get until you're in the later tiers. And you have a lot more exergy than you do in the beginning of the game. Just to reiterate and recap, guys, it is more important for you to save exergy and to hold on to a large pool of it, knowing that you will have enough for the next Driftmark upgrade when it rolls over, than it is to waste the exergy or to use it early on something that you think is important but might not necessarily be. As a tank, I definitely don't need basic attack skill crit, and I don't even do range damage, so that doesn't even do anything for me. Don't just randomly upgrade them, even though it's cheap, just for the sake of having it. Research does not roll over at the end of season, so it is not something that is meta progression. It's not something that you're going to have to worry about until it comes up, right? And it might be different from season to season. So, like this season, I'm tanking, so I'm prioritizing defensive stats for the moment. But next season, I might be healing, in which case, then I maybe will pick up a couple points in range damage just in case I want to be doing something different with my auto attack skill, for example. If you have any other questions, guys, especially as it relates to the research ability in the game, leave them in the comments. One last thing, real quick, before I go, one last thing that I'll leave you with: it is important for you to read the tech line researches so that you're unlocking things like Rally Matrix. Rally Matrix is a literal summon. It will help you get across the map. Um, So just stuff like this can be unlocked through the tech tree. And if you click the tech, it will show you how to get that from the trading house itself. Again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you have anything to add, leave that in the comments as well. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next one.